Hey guys, my name is Chris if you didn't already know, and welcome to my show, SmegChris Review. You know, the show that I sometimes remember to do. And because I'm a bit late to the game, I'm going to get started doing the reviews now. I can tell I haven't done this in a while. So the first film I'm talking about is Scream 7. I know, it's no longer at the cinema, at least I don't think it is. Like I say, I'm a bit late to the game. One great thing I liked about this movie is the fact that we got Neve Campbell back. Sydney was sadly missing from the last one. But there are also other good things about this movie. For example, it made it appear that a certain character from the original movie was back. Yes, I'm talking about Stu. And there was a lot of, is he really back or is he not? Is it AI? Is it not? Is he really there? And that had you guessing pretty much till the end of the movie. Another great moment in the film was the introduction to Courtney Cox's character, Gail Weathers, when she finally shows up on the screen. Wow, that I'd be cheering, to be quite honest. And so the story goes that Sydney has been harassed once again, and this time instead of hiding, he reveals himself to be Stu, and it's like, huh? What? And so the Ghostface killer decides that he's not coming just after Sydney, but her family too, which includes her daughter. And of course that brings on a lot of tense moments, which is what we expect from a Scream movie. The opening sequence was great, except we've got people in it that we have no idea who they are. They just happen to be there. But it was a great beginning of a movie. And as you get to know other characters, you start thinking, right, well, that one's not going to survive, that person isn't going to survive, that one might, but I've got a feeling they won't. And of course some of those that get offed is pretty gruesome. Especially McKenna Grace's. Eesh. One of the things that I like about the Scream movies is when you finally get to find out who the killer or killers are and their reasons for what they're doing. However, here comes the bad point. Not in this one. Because as we find out who the Ghostface killers or killers are, I'm not doing any spoilers, it's very underwhelming and disappointing. Let me put it this way. When the mask came off, I'm like, who is that? Who? And then when they revealed why they were doing what they were doing, I'm like, that it? That's the lame excuse you've come up with. And at that point I'm thinking, how is this a Kevin Williamson film? Because he's the one who created the entire franchise. Why is he let it go that way? I don't get it. And as the reveal came, I could hear a collective sound from the audience that I was sat with, thinking the exact same thing that I was thinking. Like, who is that? And even worse, when they revealed why they were doing what they were doing, again, the audience, I heard them going, ugh. Seriously, it was weird to see this great film that was wonderful most of the way through having a very lame ending. I mean, not the way it ended, but who it was and why they were doing what they were doing. It was just like, have you scraped that from the bottom of the barrel? You had all these other great ideas and you thought, now we'll do this one. What? Seriously, I was really enjoying the film right up to that point, and when that mask was taken off, I'm like, what is going on? I know, I keep going on about it, but it is very disappointing with the ending. And I really like the Scream films, I really do. I do like this one, just not the way it ended. It was a bad ending. And because of that, I'm going to give Scream 7 a... I'm not sure it's the worst of the Scream films. I don't really have a leadership board of Scream films. Rankings, that's what I was trying to think of. But it's definitely down there somewhere. But it's definitely still worth watching. Anyway, on to the next film that I'm reviewing. Project Hail Mary. Can you tell that I thought this was a good film? I'm smiling thinking about it. Okay, I don't remember if I've actually ever talked about the book. I feel like I have on this show at some point, but I loved that book so much that it took me only 3 days to get through it. Seriously, I was just like page turning. It was so good. So when I heard that the movie adaptation was coming along, I was like, please do it justice, please be good. And I can safely say I was not disappointed. Despite the fact that the film is on for 2.5 hours, they can't actually put everything into the film that's in the book, so some parts do skip along. Like, for example, at the beginning of the film, we're introduced to Ryan Gosling's character, Ryland Grace. In the book, it takes him a while to figure out who he is, where he is, what's happening, because he wakes up with no memory whatsoever. In the film, they sort of grazed across that. It did start that way, but then they quickly went through the process of where he was, and he started remembering who he was, sort of. It takes him a while to get to full memory recall, but I didn't care about that. I thought where they touched upon it and where they depicted it, I thought was great. And I loved how they kept bringing back his memories, and we started seeing what he had done previously. I did wonder how they were going to do that in the film, and I was pleased with what they did. You know, even though they were going back and forth along the timeline, it wasn't confusing like a Tarantino film. And then, of course, we get introduced eventually to another character who is called Rocky. And I did wonder how they were going to do that, and I was very, very impressed with what they came up with. So the story is essentially that Ryland Grace wakes up on a spacecraft, and he doesn't know where he's going or why he's there, and eventually we start seeing memories returning and explaining why he's there. So basically the plot is that our sun is dying, and they find out that a lot of stars are dying in space except for one, and he's on a mission to try and find out why that one's not dying so that they can save our sun. I think I properly explained it. Now, I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but I will say this. And I'm not afraid to admit this, had tears coming down my face from watching the film. Not sad tears, happy tears. Because of how dedicated, that's not the right term, what is the blooming word I'm trying to think of? That's the word. How faithful to the book this film was. I mean, there was a lot of different dialogue because there was a lot of improvisation. Ryan Gosling's even admitted to this. But it was basically the same all the way through, and I was so happy because it's one of my favourite books that I've ever read, and they've adapted a brilliant film out of it. Ryan Gosling was perfectly cast. I'm not sure I'm saying her name right. Sandra Hüller as Ava was again perfectly cast, and Rocky, well, I fell in love with that character all over again. I loved Rocky. From what I understand, a lot of people did. I cannot say enough good things about this film. The CGI, the special effects, everything was just top notch. And even though it is a 2.5 hour film, it did not feel like that. I genuinely was just gripped by every moment of the screen throughout the entire film. And even though I have read the book and I knew what was going to happen, I still had those moments where I was gripping the seat because of a tense scene. And I loved it for that. And even at the end, the way it finishes, just like in the book, again, I had tears coming down because of how happy I was that they did such a good job with the film. And it also makes me want to read the book again. Honestly, this is the best film of the year so far. I absolutely adored it. And because of that, I'm going to give Project Hail Mary yep, 10 out of 10. I could not recommend this film enough. If you've not seen it, please, I implore you, go see it. It is a fantastic film. And also, if you like reading, get the book. Read the book by Andy Weir. It's brilliant. Okay, I'm going to shut up now by ending this video. Yeah, I don't have a bad thing to say about Project Hail Mary. Honestly, it's a great film. I'm still talking. Right, I'm going to end now. All that's left for me to say is thank you for watching and subscribing if you have, and liking this video if you did. Until the next time, peace out. Some of you might have noticed that I'm wearing a NASA shirt and you're thinking, oh, he's put that on because he was talking about Project Hail Mary. Nope, actually, it's the opposite. See, I just threw on this shirt, I'm like, oh, NASA. And then it suddenly popped into my head, I've not done the review for Project Hail Mary, and not even for Scream 7. I'm like, I've completely forgotten. So thanks to this shirt, I remembered. So thank you, shirt, well done.